This is Going Under Anesthesia Answered with Dr. Brian Schmutzler. I'm Vahid Sadrzadeh. We're brought to you by the Butterfly Network.
All right, I'm going to let you in on something that's completely changed the way I practice. I've been using Butterfly probes for years. It's a portable ultrasound that plugs right into my compatible tablet or phone, so I can start scanning at the bedside in seconds. If you've used the older versions, or even if you're new to the handheld ultrasound game, let me tell you why the new IQ3 is a game changer and really impressive. First off, having an ultrasound in the palm of my hands, that literally fits in my pocket, means I can move faster, whether it's vascular access, procedural guidance, or just getting real-time insights for my patients. And the tech inside this tiny device is pretty incredible. Biplane imaging lets me see short and long axis simultaneously, which is great for getting the views that I need, but also for teaching. The new needle out-of-plane preset even shifts the scan plane digitally so I can see the needle tip sooner, which makes a real difference when precision matters. And the image quality, this little probe holds up against even the big cart-based ultrasound systems and is often even better. That's pretty impressive for something this portable. If you're looking for a device that supports your practice, I can't recommend the Butterfly IQ3 enough. And right now, they're running a special offer. You can get $750 off the latest IQ3. Check it out at butterflynetwork.com.
All right. Again, Butterfly Network, thank you for being our proud sponsor here for the second consecutive season of Going Under Anesthesia Answered. A special episode here today because we're actually recording this the afternoon that Charlie Kirk was shot and killed in Utah at a rally that he was holding. Was it in Salt Lake City?
It was Utah Valley State. I think it's Odin, Utah.
Ogden, Utah. Ogden, Utah.
Right? Yeah.
And no matter what side you're on here, because this is not political, we're not going to make it political.
Yeah, and we stay away from political issues here. I don't really talk politics, but I think this issue we had to talk about today because one, it just happened, and two, I think there are bigger, not just political, but just big issues in our country at this point. So go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, the first topic that we were going to touch on is freedom of speech. And again, we're not a political show. Do we have political viewpoints? Absolutely. Are we going to stuff those political viewpoints down your throats? No, we're not. And we never have. But no matter what side of the coin you're on, I think this has been a kind of a dark day.
Very, yeah.
Because his basis was freedom of speech.
Yeah, talking through things, going on college campuses and having a debate with people. And
mostly college students.
Yep, mostly college students. And he would debate anybody. He'd go on anybody's show. He was just on Gavin Newsom's show,
sure.
Right? He would talk to anybody.
He was supposed to come to Indiana, by the way, in October and was just at Purdue, I believe, a few months ago.
Yep, I remember he did do Purdue. And I'll be honest, I don't know Charlie Kirk personally at all, but I do know people who know him personally who say he's an incredible guy. And again, though, regardless of what you think, you're at a rally talking to college students, completely nonviolent, non-aggressive, just having conversations, and somebody shoots you. I'm angry. I'll be honest. I'm totally angry about it. And I'd be angry if it was, I don't know, who's somebody on the left. I'd be angry if it was anybody.
Yeah, liberals, conservatives, doesn't matter.
In the middle, I'm angry if it's Putin, honestly, right? If Putin wants to come to the United States and debate
peacefully.
with people, peacefully, and debate with people, fine, right? I'm okay with that. We should have a conversation. So I'm angry about it. I'm sad because he's got a wife and two kids,
and
right?
he's 31 years old.
31 years old. That could have been me, right? So that makes me sad, but it also makes me angry, and it makes me a little bit scared that And we talked about, what if I say something that you disagree with, right? What if I say something in the medical realm that somebody disagrees with? They can come and shoot me for it?
Yeah, it's I think it's a divisive world, no doubt. The whole basis of, and we even studied this in high school, in grade school, right? It's debate.
Yep.
Can you hold a conversation with somebody and still hold your line, not be disrespectful about it,
right,
understand their point of view, and know that no two human beings are the same?
Oh, yeah.
Am I going to come at you for your religious beliefs? You know what I mean? Like this is, again, it's why can't two human beings being in the same room have different views and have a conversation?
Yeah. I totally agree. I mean, what is it?
That doesn't make me a conservative or liberal. Right. And if you think for 1 second that is the basis behind being a conservative or liberal, then I think people need to take a look at where their actions lie or where their intentions lie.
What is the phrase? I disagree with your point of view, but I vehemently defend your ability to express it. I think that's that line, but it was that's a line from the start of our country. I can completely disagree with everything that you think and say, but you should have every right to safely say that.
Let me say something else. When somebody goes into the OR, do you look at their record and say, "Oh, look, you voted for so-and-so. No. You can't listen to Charlie Kirk"?
No.
Do you look at that?
No. I mean, we don't ever care about that, right? The patient is there for me to take care of. I don't look at human beings that way as conservative or liberal or Republican or Democrat. Unless you're specifically telling me your political views, I'm just going to assume that you and I are going to a baseball game together, or we're, talking about, how hot it is outside, or how, annoying Taylor Swift's voice is, or something like that, right? Like, I mean, we're having a conversation. I don't really care what your political views are unless you put them in my face. And then if you do, we'll have a debate. But otherwise,
even then.
But let's have a debate or have a discussion.
Let's talk about it civilly.
Yeah.
And that's where I think today was wrong.
Yeah, 100%.
And, again, it's way too early to figure out who this person was.
Or why they did what they did.
What they did. But an innocent man who was unarmed, who was simply answering questions in a debate-style format, was gunned down in very graphic plain sight, which was, our kids are going to see that.
Yeah, for no reason. I mean, I'll be honest, my kids were crying about it. We were all upset, but my kids were crying about it. Not necessarily because of who he was, but it scared them, right? It scared them that somebody can walk onto a college campus to talk to people and get shot for no reason.
The same day today, 2 kids were shot in a school in Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, I saw that come across. I haven't looked at that article yet, but I saw that come across too. Again, being apolitical here, I'm against school shootings too. We'll just put that on the record, right? I mean, anybody who goes and shoots up a school deserves the punishment that they get, right? I mean, it's ridiculous too.
And look at what happened in Minnesota,
right?
Equally right? As bad. And horrific. And when people think that, their political beliefs come before humanity, right? I'm just going to say that.
Yeah.
I think we need to relook at what we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And the debates we're having and how we're having those conversations.
Well, and I think this is a big push, and not even on one side, but a big push on both sides in the media, right? Everybody is your enemy, right? So on the right, the left's your enemy. On the left, the right's your enemy. It's like that. You look back 40, 50 years ago, that's not how things were. We could have discussions. You could, look at the debates when Reagan and was it McGovern?
McGovern was earlier in 72. Reagan and Bush.
No.
Bush was 80.
Who did he run against? Who did
Dukakis?
Reagan? No, that was Bush that ran against Dukakis. Anyway, Mondale, Walter Mondale,
yeah, from Minnesota.
Yeah, right. And those guys vehemently disagreed, but they stood on stage, they laughed, they joked back and forth. You should be able to debate ideas, not people, and you shouldn't be hating people for their ideas.
Well, and again, I'm just reading here. I'm not expressing my viewpoints. I'm just saying, as a breaking news source, the Utah governor just said a person of interest is in custody, and calls the shooting of Charlie Kirk a, quote, political assassination. And again, reminded me very much of
last July.
Well, and it reminded me very much of, JFK's assassination, in 1963. I wasn't alive to see that then. But
there's been a lot of stuff about that since. I've watched a lot of documentaries, and yeah, I mean, that's awful too, right? No matter what you thought about his policies, no matter what you thought about him as a person, I actually listened to Bill O'Reilly's got a couple of books about him. I listened to those books.
Yeah.
Fascinating, right? But yeah, nobody deserves to die just because you don't like their views.
Absolutely. We are a medical podcast.
Yeah.
And so let's talk medically about this. And in terms of viewpoints, right? There are a lot of viewpoints out there on social media. And, if you're a physician, because not you in particular, but the group of physicians or medical professionals that go online and express their viewpoints, do you find this to be almost, freedom of speech does include social media platforms.
Correct.
You're on social media platforms. Does this give you hesitancy, pause? Does it give the medical community, just look at how, I'm going to use that word again, divisive it has been.
Certain medical issues for sure.
Since RFK came into his role, look how the country is kind of divided
on a health perspective.
Yeah,
and so I would say we're not a political show, but we do have controversial medical opinions sometimes, right? Like, I just destroy the insurance companies because I think that they're evil. I think that's probably a controversial opinion to some people, probably not a whole lot, but to some people, that's probably a controversial opinion. If I came out and said, I'm not getting the COVID vaccine, would that be a controversial opinion? Would somebody come shoot me because I said, I'm not getting the COVID vaccine? I mean, I think in areas that I know a lot about in medicine and anesthesia, I have opinions, and some of those opinions will be controversial.
That you're an expert in.
Yeah, exactly.
And we talked about this last week, that you're an expert in.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So,
well, and I mean, like when it comes to the medical profession, I think in recent years there's been more of a voice because of more individuals coming to, because of the social media.
Social media is part of it, and I think just media in general, right? I think there's more physicians on television, whether that's local television doing spots.
And they're giving their opinions.
Right. Yeah, we give our opinions. And I think, while it's maybe not touching quite the nerve that some, more political opinions are, I still probably am touching nerves on people who disagree with my opinion. I mean, we've had quite some vitriol, even by mentioning the name RFK Jr. We had quite some vitriol when I simply was just quoting what he had said. So, yeah, I mean, it's scary. Like I said, I think overall it's scary and it makes me mad.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, no matter what side you're on, I've seen plenty of posts on social media today. Friends that I know are Republican, friends that I know are Democrats, friends that I know didn't vote at all, right? Who just have beliefs and want healthy debate and the freedom of speech, who have posted this and reposted this.
I would say overwhelmingly people are condemning this, and not the condemning, not the same condemning. Let's be honest, not the same condemning that we did of when the CEO of United Healthcare, right? There was a lot of qualifications in that we talked about. But I think people talked about. I think that people are truly condemning this act for the most part. There was some anchor, and I can't even remember what channel it was on, who said something about how, his discussions brought this on, which is absolutely ridiculous. And there's people already calling for that guy to get fired. And I agree. I mean, you can't ever say that what somebody said made them deserve to be shot. So
where are we? I mean, we're on the topic here, but where are we in 2025? I feel like medicine has become
political.
100%. Well, I mean, do you feel like it was like that when you're going through medical school? Did you feel like it was
somewhat? So,
in what ways?
So I think the biggest kind of political issue when I was coming up through medical school, and it's actually near and dear to my heart, so it really ticked me off at the time, was opioids. So you had that whole time where Purdue Pharma was pushing out all this stuff about how pain is the fifth vital sign and really corrupting the entire medical industry into giving everybody a bunch of opioids, right? So I think
because of monetary reasons, basically.
Yeah, Purdue Pharma made billions of dollars off their drugs, getting people hooked on opioids. So I think that was somewhat political, but not to the same way that this is, right? So you would I got grilled many times because I said, well, opioids don't treat pain, they just dull your senses. The only things that treat pain are things that treat inflammatory pain or neuropathic pain, and opioids do neither. So I would,
this is while getting your PhD.
This is while medical school, yeah. So they, you don't care, you're not compassionate to the patient.
Other physicians said that to you.
Oh yeah. Like no, I understand pharmacology, and I understand that these drugs are addictive, and giving them to people is not going to treat their pain. So I think that was somewhat political, but not to the way things are now, right? I mean, and I think COVID pushed it that way. And then I think, even for the last probably 8 to 10 years, the nutrition industry,
interesting.
I think it was more fringe maybe before the last maybe 3 to 4 years. But I think, our food is poison, right? Most of our food is just terrible, right? So you look at nutrition, and people who are pushing like eating a keto diet, eating carnivore diet, eating just, non-processed foods. Processed foods literally, and we talked about this at ASMBS, right? Processed foods make you fat, right? Not necessarily just the calories, but the way that they make your body react and the hormones they activate and that sort of stuff. So,
but they're also let's just be real here. They say protein packed on every single item now, right? Like 90% of, it could be cereal with Count Chocula. Protein packed.
100% real cheese.
Right? So like you're eating like what are those? I don't want to call the company out, but like you're eating one of those not Nutri-Grain bars, but you know what I'm talking about.
Like a Kind bar.
Or whatever, right?
Bar, yeah. Granola bar.
Right.
Yeah.
Protein.
Yeah.
Right?
It's mostly sugar. Yeah, right. So what a lot of people say now, and again, I'm not pushing like eating all natural or whatever.
But this has even become a political issue.
It has become political. Yeah, I'm just saying, you should, if it doesn't come from the ground or from an animal, and it gets processed, it's probably not good for you in general, right? And it became political on both sides, right? It became political on the side of what we sometimes lovingly refer to as crunchy people who are like, I only eat organic and blah, blah, blah. But it also became political when the AHA, the American Heart Association, comes out defending Coke, sugar Coke for school lunches, right? How does the American Heart Association come out and say that? Because they're in the pocket of big sugar or whatever. So, I think that became political too. But the big driving force, which is the elephant in the room, was COVID, right? COVID is what made medicine political, right?
Do we ever take a step back from that now? Do you ever recover? It's like, it's a weird comparison. I don't know why I thought of this. And it's too late to backtrack now.
All right, let's do it.
But like, okay, our interest rates are really sky high.
Yeah.
Are they ever going to fall back? Do you ever walk back an issue that has become political, becoming non-political? That's the question. So like,
yeah, that's hard. I think the opioid thing has become non-political now, but only because of exposure, right? Because Purdue Pharma got exposed as we knew this was just addicting people and not treating their pain, right? So I don't think anybody's now going to argue like, oh yeah, opioids are the greatest thing in the world.
But now every time a new disease is introduced into this country, is the automatic thing
it's going to be political 100%
to be political?
Yep, 100%, because the pathway's been set, and so the answer is money. What's the question? I say this all the time, right? There was money to be made, right? No matter what you think, on both sides, right? There was money to be made on both sides of the COVID debate. So if there's money to be made, there's always going to be divisiveness.
And here's what I will say. And we'll kind of go back to the Charlie Kirk thing.
Yeah.
Because human died today. Very sad. Our freedom of speech
took a hit for sure.
Took a hit. And what I will say is this. There's a lot of people in the comments of your social media page who like to go back and forth and banter.
Yep. Oh, yeah. which I love. Please continue to have respectful,
civil debate.
Yeah.
And that's all I ask.
Yeah.
Is respectful civil debate. Because, everybody is from a different background, a different area, a different country, different religious beliefs, different political beliefs. But when we can't
even
have healthy conversation, I think something has gone awry.
Yeah, something's broken. I mean, I think, there's a couple of things I want to say here. So number one, you are unlikely to change somebody's mind on social media, or even what Charlie Kirk was doing, which was going out on college campuses. You're unlikely to change somebody's mind, but you might plant a seed of something that they later on say, hey, there was some truth to what was said then. Right. But they're not going to go back. If you're disrespectful or mean or jam something down somebody's throat, they're not going to go back to that nugget and say, oh, yeah, I remember that. Maybe that does make sense. But if you're respectful and you say, hey, listen, I disagree with you. I think that, make it up. The sky is actually green, not blue. Right? I'm just making up. The sky is actually green, not blue. And this is why. And you say it respectfully and they say, oh, you're wrong. Okay. But this is why I think it.
Okay, cool. We'll agree to disagree.
And maybe later on they say, oh, it is kind of green. So
I think that's the important thing is it's hard to change or improve or not even change, just see the other viewpoint if you're so interested in hearing yourself talk.
Echo chamber. Yep.
And I think, you've changed over the years. You have different viewpoints over the years. You've accepted different viewpoints over the years. I have as well. And you're never going to learn, grow, or change as a person if you're not willing to hear
somebody who disagrees
or listen to somebody else.
Well, a lot of this,
and I'm not just spouting this crap.
Yeah,
I'm in my mid 40s. I have 2 children. I've been in the journalistic profession.
I want to ask about that, but
I've been in the journalism profession for over 20 years now, 25 years, and I have heard viewpoints. I've accepted viewpoints. My parents are not from this country, right? But it doesn't mean I can't accept and change and listen and grow myself. And that's the reality. And if you're not willing to do that, I think like we need to change that.
Yeah.
You're not going to change everybody's mind. And that's not the point.
Right.
It's why don't you listen to my viewpoint?
Yeah.
If you listen to me, I can listen to you.
Right. And then we can empathize, right?
I don't like the Colts. I like the Packers. I'm not going to,
Because you're just wrong. But I'm just kidding. So let me ask you this.
Seriously, I mean, it's a debate, right?
What's the discussion in the newsroom? Because that's a different perspective. You have a different perspective than what I'm hearing on, I see it mostly on social media. This all happened after I had already left the hospital for the day. So, I didn't get to talk to anybody about it at the hospital. But what's the discussion? What's the sense in the newsroom and of your colleagues in the news industry?
So I'm lucky to work in a newsroom that is very bipartisan.
Yeah.
Meaning,
I would say they're even keel. Yeah.
Meaning, I've worked with some of these people for years and years and years. And, who I work with have many different viewpoints. Okay. Younger newsroom, many different viewpoints. Mm-hmm. And I would still say, journalistically speaking, that you're able to put aside
your own
belief system because that's what we do as journalists.
Supposed to.
You're supposed to. That's what you're supposed to do. Now, again, the world isn't made of what you're supposed to.
Right.
And that bleeds through sometimes. However, I feel like I'm lucky to work in a newsroom where we don't view it that way. And we have a news director who doesn't view it that way. Now, all newsrooms aren't like that.
Oh, I'm sure not. Yeah.
And, even listening or watching television after this event happened, you'll see both sides of it. Both.
Yeah.
You'll see both sides of it. You had one person saying this on this network, and you had one person saying this on this network, and it's why are you saying it that way, and why are you saying it this way? But I feel like our responsibility is to present the facts. And the facts of the matter is an unarmed person who is holding a peaceful rally was murdered in broad daylight.
Right. So
that is what happened.
what's the general feel? And maybe you can't tell me, but what's the general feel? What's the general discussion in the newsroom about the Charlie Kirk murder?
I don't think there's been enough time to marinate on it. Okay. I'm being real. I think we can come back to it next week.
Okay. Yeah.
Once there's been time.
Yeah.
I think the overall feel is that, holy crap.
Yeah.
Because
it's going to be bigger than just this.
It is. Yeah. And why? And why do we cover the story? It goes back to the simple fact of our freedom of speech. That's what journalism was founded on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is the First Amendment is journalism of speech.
Yeah.
And if we're not allowing people to have their viewpoints and speak freely, then how are we different from other countries that experience this all the time?
North Korea, right? We become North Korea. Yeah.
Secondly, this is the second time. I mean, if you want to call this a political assassination, this is the second time in the last month, aside from Minnesota, that we've had people with viewpoints specifically hunted down and shot because of their viewpoint on something.
Yeah.
And so,
you got the train in North Carolina too.
Correct.
Yeah.
The stabbing there.
Yeah.
So again, this doesn't have anything to do with what side of the political aisle you're on. If you're on either side of the aisle,
you should be angry about this.
This is dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I think that's the pulse of the newsroom.
Okay.
The pulse of the newsroom is, oh man,
we're in trouble. Yeah.
This is a trend and not just a one-off, oh look, this happened again situation.
Right.
And so when that happens, I think, the very basis of what we do
is threatened. Yeah.
Right. So, again, I don't think this has, again, if you're going to look at it as a political view, okay, you look at it as, my viewpoint is this has nothing to do with politics. And this has everything to do with, can we listen to each other? Is the freedom of speech, is that in danger in our country?
Yep. And the other thing I was going to say when we were talking about debate, I think one of the big problems is we don't do debate in school anymore, not even college.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, we talked about that briefly earlier in the show.
Yeah, we don't do debate. We don't have debate class, right? And the joy of debate class is that you had to take the opposite view. A good teacher
opposite view
made you take an opposite viewpoint, right? So
even though if you didn't believe in it,
right? Like again, I go back to the sky is green, the sky is blue, right? Where, hey, the teacher knows you think the sky is green. You have to defend the sky is blue, right? It gives you the perspective of, oh, I can see why they think. I still disagree, but I can see why they think that. And guess what? It doesn't really matter, right? Ultimately, it doesn't matter. It matters. Obviously, these political things matter, right? They matter to life, but it doesn't matter for our relationship.
Correct.
Right? We can disagree about almost everything.
And I can still, at the end of the day, go back and say, hey, Brian, you want to share this 30-year-old bottle of whiskey that we have in bourbon? And we can debate over bourbon.
Yeah, exactly. Or talk about, something we agree on.
Yeah, exactly.
About, how bad our kids' football teams are. So...
The Raiders.
Yeah.
God bless the Raiders.
Yeah.
And the Eagles.
And the Eagles, yeah.
Yeah, you guys beat us this week. So.
The varsity, yeah.
The varsity.
Our JV's struggling a little bit. I do, whatever your political or religious persuasion, I do want to take a moment of silence at the end of our podcast today, right now, just to, because, again, someone lost their life unnecessarily. He's got a wife. He's got 2 kids that are going to grow up without a dad. So I think it's worthwhile to just take a moment of silence before we close out. You all right with that?
Yep.
All right.
Going Under, Anesthesia Answered with Dr. Brian Schmutzler, brought to you by the Butterfly Network. Brian, thanks so much as always.
We'll talk to you next time.
We'll speak to you next week.